22nd, 1960, the ground in southern Chile began to shake. It didn't stop for 10 minutes. The earthquake measured 9.5 on the moment magnitude scale. That number has never been matched. Not before, not since. The tsunami it unleashed crossed the entire Pacific Ocean. It struck Hawaii 15 hours later with 35-foot waves. 22 hours after that, it reached Japan, killing 139 people. 2 million Chileans lost their homes in a single day. This one earthquake released 25% of all seismic energy on Earth in the 20th century. 1/4, one single event. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why it sits at the very bottom of this iceberg. But you're not ready for what's down there yet. This is the iceberg of the most powerful earthquakes. 11 levels, 4 tiers, each one deeper than the last. The higher up on the iceberg, the more familiar the earthquake. The deeper you go, the more the earth moved. At the surface, earthquakes you've seen on the news. In the middle, quakes that rewrote geography itself. At the bottom, events so powerful they reshaped entire coastlines. And at the very bottom sits a single earthquake that makes everything above it look small. By the time you reach it, you'll understand why seismologists call it the big one. If you make it to the bottom, drop a comment. Let's see who stays. Let's start at the surface. Level 1. January 12, 2010. Port-au-Prince, Haiti. A magnitude 7.0 earthquake strikes the capital city. Now, 7.0 doesn't sound that extreme on paper, but this quake was shallow, just 13 kilometers below the surface. That's barely 8 miles deep, almost directly under the city. The shallower the quake, the more violent the shaking at the surface. And Port-au-Prince was not built to handle it. 250,000 homes collapsed in seconds. 316,000 people lost their lives. 1.5 million were left without a home. This was one of the deadliest earthquakes of the 21st century, not because of its power, but because of where it hit. A moderate earthquake in the wrong place can kill more than a monster in the wilderness. Remember that. It becomes important later. That's level 1. And we're barely below the waterline. Level 2 takes us back over 100 years. April 18th, 1906, San Francisco, California. 5:12 in the morning. The San Andreas Fault slipped along 270 miles. The shaking lasted 42 seconds. 42 seconds doesn't sound like much, but in those 42 seconds, the city was destroyed. Magnitude 7.9. 3,000 people killed, but the earthquake was only the beginning. The real destruction came from what happened next. Fire. Gas lines ruptured across the city. Fires broke out everywhere, and they burned for 3 straight days. 80% of San Francisco was destroyed. 5 square miles of downtown turned to rubble and ash. 225,000 people were left homeless. $400 million in damage, in 1906 money. This earthquake didn't just destroy a city, it gave birth to modern seismology. Scientists finally understood that faults cause earthquakes, not the other way around. That's the surface tier complete, and we're about to go deeper. But this is where it gets crazy. Level 3. And it happened in a place nobody expects earthquakes. Missouri, December 16, 1811. New Madrid, Missouri. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake ripped through the middle of America. But it didn't stop there. 2 more massive quakes followed. The second hit January 23, 1812. The third on February 7th. 3 major earthquakes in less than 2 months. The strongest reached magnitude 8.1. Now here's what makes this insane. These quakes were felt across 1 million square miles. Church bells rang in Boston, over 1,000 miles away. Chimneys toppled in Cincinnati, 360 miles from the epicenter. The area affected was 10 times larger than the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. But the most unbelievable part? The Mississippi River temporarily flowed backwards. The ground warped so violently that the river reversed its course. And overnight, the quake created an entirely new lake. Real Foot Lake in Tennessee. 73 square kilometers of water appeared in hours. An earthquake in the middle of America rewrote the landscape, and most people have never even heard of it. Now we go even deeper. Level 4. This is the deadliest earthquake in all of recorded human history. January 23, 1556. Shaanxi Province, China. The Ming Dynasty. An estimated magnitude 8. 830,000 people died. Let that number sit for a second. 830,000, more than any other earthquake ever in all of recorded history. But why was the death toll so impossibly high? Because of where people lived. Millions of people in Shaanxi lived in yaodongs, artificial caves carved into hillsides. The hills were made of loess, a soft, powdery soil. When the earthquake hit, the caves collapsed instantly. Entire families were buried alive in their sleep. The quake struck early morning. Most people never woke up. 97 counties were destroyed across 5 provinces. In some counties, 60% of the entire population was killed. Crevices 20 meters deep, 66 feet, tore open the ground. The destruction radius stretched 500 kilometers. 310 miles of devastation. No earthquake in history has ever killed more people. Not even close. Level 5. August 15, 1950. Arunachal Pradesh, India. Near the border with Tibet. Magnitude 8.6. The 10th largest earthquake ever recorded. The ground cracked open. Sand erupted from below in massive sand blows. Landslides tore down entire mountainsides. 780 people were killed. The death toll was low because the region was sparsely populated, but the raw seismic power was staggering. We've now crossed into magnitude 8.5 territory, and this is where the iceberg starts going dark. Welcome to Tier 3, the deep water. Level 6, February 4th, 1965, the Rat Islands, Alaska. Magnitude 8.7. The 9th largest earthquake ever recorded. This quake generated a 35-foot tsunami. But the Aleutian Islands are one of the most remote places on Earth. Almost nobody lived there. The tsunami hit empty coastline. A monster earthquake with almost no witnesses. But the power was undeniable. 8.7 on the scale. Now imagine that same energy hitting a populated coast. That's exactly what happens at level 7. February 27th, 2010, Chile. Magnitude 8.8. Tied for the 6th largest earthquake ever recorded. 523 people lost their lives. 370,000 homes were destroyed. The Biobío region was devastated. And this was a modern earthquake, with modern buildings and warning systems. 8.8. And it still flattened hundreds of thousands of homes. Now hold that number in your head. 8.8. Because we're about to cross a threshold that changes everything. Level 8. Welcome to Magnitude 9. November 4th, 1952. Kamchatka, Russia. Magnitude 9.0. This was the first magnitude 9 earthquake ever recorded by instruments. The world's very first confirmed 9.0. The tsunami it generated crossed the Pacific and struck Hawaii. It caused over $1 million in damage on an island 4,000 miles away. The 5th largest earthquake in recorded history. And it was just the door opening, because behind that door are 4 more earthquakes, and each one is worse than the last. Level 9. March 11th, 2011, Japan. Magnitude 9.1. The largest earthquake ever recorded in Japan. 15,000 people were killed. 130,000 were displaced from their homes. 332,000 buildings were damaged or destroyed. 2,100 roads, 56 bridges, 26 railways. But the earthquake itself wasn't even the worst part. The tsunami that followed slammed into the Fukushima nuclear power plant. It triggered one of the worst nuclear disasters in human history. The Fukushima meltdown forced the evacuation of entire cities. Radiation contaminated water, soil, and food across the region. Japan, one of the most prepared countries on Earth for earthquakes. and magnitude 9.1 still brought it to its knees. If you've made it this deep into the iceberg, hit subscribe. You'll want to see what's next. We've now reached the bottom tier, the deepest water. From here on, every earthquake changed the course of history. Level 10, December 26, 2004, Boxing Day. Off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, magnitude 9.1. The fault ruptured along 1,200 kilometers. That's 750 miles of the Earth's crust tearing apart. The rupture took 8 to 10 minutes to complete, and it displaced trillions of tons of water. The result was the deadliest tsunami in human history. Waves up to 30 meters, 100 feet, hit the coast of Aceh. 230,000 people were killed across 14 countries. 14 countries. One single wave. The tsunami reached Somalia, 4,500 kilometers away. It took 7 hours to cross the Indian Ocean. 1.1 million people were displaced. $14 billion in humanitarian response poured in from around the world. This was the event that made the world build tsunami warning systems. Before Boxing Day, most of the Indian Ocean had no warning system at all. 230,000 people died, partly because no alert existed. Level 10. And there's still one more below it. This is the bottom of the iceberg. Level 11. The most powerful earthquake ever recorded by human instruments. May 22nd, 1960. Southern Chile. The Valdivia earthquake. Magnitude 9.5. 9.5. Nothing in recorded history has ever matched that number. The shaking lasted approximately 10 minutes. 10 straight minutes of the ground moving beneath your feet. The fault ruptured along 600 to 1,000 miles of the Chilean coast. Between 1,600 and 6,000 people were killed. 2 million people, 25% of Chile's population, lost their homes. The tsunami waves on the Chilean coast reached 82 feet, 25 meters of water crashing into the shore. But the tsunami didn't stop at Chile. It crossed the entire Pacific Ocean. 15 hours later, it hit Hawaii with 35-foot waves. 61 people died in the city of Hilo alone. 22 hours after the quake, the tsunami reached Japan. 139 people were killed on the other side of the planet. It even reached the Philippines, killing 32 more. One earthquake, one tsunami, 3 continents. The landslides triggered by the quake blocked rivers and caused massive floods. It even triggered a volcanic eruption. Cordón Caulle erupted 2 days later. $550 million in damage in 1960. That's roughly $5 billion in today's money. But here's the number that puts it all in perspective. This single earthquake released 25% of all seismic energy on Earth in the entire 20th century. 1/4 of a century's worth of earthquakes in one event. Every earthquake on this iceberg, every tremor, every aftershock, every rumble, across the entire planet for 100 years. And this one event in Chile accounted for 1/4 of all of it. That is the bottom of the iceberg. That is why magnitude 9.5 has never been matched. And that is the Valdivia earthquake. So that's part 1 of the earthquake iceberg. 11 levels, 4 tiers. From Haiti at magnitude 7 to Chile at 9.5. Every level more powerful than the last. But here's the thing, we only covered what's been recorded. The Earth has been shaking for 4.5 billion years, and human instruments have only existed for about 100. What's hiding in the geological record makes even Valdivia look small. Part 2 goes deeper. Ancient megaquakes, supervolcano triggers, extinction-level seismic events. If you want to see the real bottom, subscribe and hit the bell. Drop a comment. Which earthquake shocked you the most? And share this with someone who thinks they know earthquakes. Part 2 is coming, and you are not ready.